No one will judge you for enjoying plenty of meat at a Brazilian steakhouse, but piling your plate too high isn't a great idea. From pacing yourself on the salad bar to using proper table etiquette, there are a few key rules worth knowing. Above basic dining etiquette, sharing food at a Brazilian steakhouse can get tricky. Portions vary depending on appetite, but once the carved meats start arriving from skewers, even light eaters may find it hard to resist. If you're enjoying something like picanha and want your companion to try it, offering a small taste is usually fine. Problems start when a bite turns into effectively splitting portions, which can be frowned upon. A simple way to avoid confusion is to clearly signal to the gauchos when you're just sharing a sample. Rules can vary by restaurant, but it's best to keep expectations clear. A Brazilian steakhouse works differently from a typical restaurant where you order off a menu. Instead of placing individual orders, gauchos continue serving meat until you indicate otherwise. Many of these restaurants use a simple signaling system, often with a card or token. A green indicator means you're ready for more, while a red one signals that you need a break or are finished eating. It's a straightforward way to control the non-stop service and pace your meal.
Green means go.
Right, you ready for the meat?
Red means stop.
Yeah, I'm on break, I'm eating whatever I have, right?
Even if you still have food on your plate, gauchos may keep offering more unless you clearly signal to pause service. Repeatedly turning them away can slow down service and may also disrupt the dining experience for others at your table. At a churrascaria, you may notice a pair of tongs placed at your setting. Unlike tabletop grilling restaurants such as Korean, Thai, or Japanese barbecue spots, you're not cooking anything yourself, but the tongs still serve a purpose. When a gaucho brings around a skewer of carved meats, they'll slice portions directly onto your plate. Instead of letting the meat drop and splatter, you're expected to use the tongs to help guide and place it neatly on your plate. It's a small etiquette detail that helps keep things tidy and makes serving smoother for everyone.
So I think I'm missing a step. Are we supposed to pull it?
Use the tongue, okay, to pull the meat.
Holding the meat steady with the tongs also makes it easier for the gaucho to slice clean portions. It isn't just a helpful gesture, it's part of the expected flow of service. If you're not paying attention, you may even notice the server pausing briefly while waiting for you to use them. If a slice looks like it might slip while it's being carved, it can be tempting to spear it with your fork mid-cut. However, that's generally considered poor etiquette in a Brazilian steakhouse. It risks interfering with the gaucho's carving motion and could even lead to accidental contact. There's also a chance you miss the slice and end up touching the main cut intended for others. The better approach is to let the server finish the cut and use the provided tongs to guide the meat onto your plate. At most Brazilian steakhouses, you'll get separate plates for meats and for sides like salads. While it's tempting to balance all the protein with vegetables, the experience is mostly built around continuous meat service brought directly to your table. If you want salad or sides, you'll usually need to get up and serve yourself, but basic shared food etiquette still applies. Avoid using your personal utensils in communal dishes, and never return food from your plate to the serving trays. It's also best to start with a small portion, especially if you're new to this type of dining. The meat courses can be surprisingly filling, and there's no need to overload your plate since you can return for more anytime. Like a buffet, taking modest portions and using a clean plate each time helps keep things respectful and manageable. At a Brazilian steakhouse, gauchos are there specifically to serve meat, so calling them over for unrelated requests is generally considered bad etiquette. With all the rich food, you'll likely want something refreshing to drink. Many diners opt for Brazilian lemonade, while others choose a classic cocktail like a caipirinha to mark a special occasion and round out the experience.
A caipirinha. Saúde.
However, gauchos aren't responsible for drinks, billing, or general table service. They're focused entirely on carving and serving meats. For anything else, such as beverages or the check, you should look for your server instead. Asking gauchos for non-meat requests can slow down service and take them away from their main role, which is keeping the meat coming efficiently. At a churrascaria, meat is served continuously, but that doesn't mean you should take more than you can eat. A key etiquette rule is to only accept full portions when you're confident you'll finish them. If you're new to the experience, it's better to sample small slices of different cuts first, and ask the gaucho for recommendations if you're unsure what you're trying. Leaving a bite or two after tasting is generally acceptable, and staff will clear plates as needed so they don't pile up. The best approach is to pace yourself and take smaller portions, which lets you enjoy more variety without overcommitting to any single cut.
I'm still in the fast lane.
All right, go for it.
I'm ready to go.
You don't need to speak Portuguese to enjoy a Brazilian steakhouse in the US. It's completely optional and not an etiquette requirement. That said, using a few basic terms can help you communicate how you like your meat cooked and enhance the experience. For example, mal passata means rare to medium rare, ao ponto refers to medium with a bit of pink, and bem passata means well done. Since different cuts can shine at different doneness levels, it can be worth adjusting your preferences depending on what you're served. In Brazil, the biggest meal is often lunch, while in the US, churrascaria dining is more commonly a leisurely dinner experience. Either way, a Brazilian steakhouse is meant to be unhurried, with meats continually brought around the room. It's best to avoid treating the meal like a race. Rushing through food can feel out of place and take away from the experience. At the same time, moving too slowly can mean missing out on certain cuts as service cycles around. The goal is a steady pace that lets you enjoy the variety without feeling pressured or overly focused on getting your money's worth.
And just when you try to catch your breath.
There's more.
It's best not to rush the gauchos or try to eat everything as quickly as possible. Even if the experience is meat-heavy, stick to proper table manners and use a knife and fork rather than eating with your hands. Moving at a steady pace keeps the meal enjoyable and fits the relaxed atmosphere of a churrascaria. Eating too fast can also backfire. You may fill up before you've had a chance to try the different cuts, so slowing down helps you get the most variety out of the experience. You're probably used to set lunch menus or a la carte dinners, and even some barbecue spots where timing or plate limits apply. A Brazilian steakhouse works differently. You typically pay a fixed price and then enjoy a continuous rotation of meats like beef, pork, and chicken. That said, it's important to understand what's actually included in that price, especially in group settings. While the meat service is usually part of the set fee, items like appetizers, seafood, premium sides, desserts, and drinks are often extra, and certain specials may carry additional charges. Some restaurants also offer alternatives to the full rodizio experience, as well as discounts for children or promotions that can affect the final bill. Tipping expectations vary by country, so it's worth knowing the local norm. In Brazil, a 10% tip is common, while in the US, Brazilian steakhouses typically follow standard restaurant etiquette of about 15 to 20% for dinner service. You can always adjust based on the quality of service, and in group dining situations, it's smart to check whether gratuity has already been included in the bill. While a churrascaria can feel like a high-value experience, it's rarely a low-cost one, so if the service has been strong, it's generally not the place to be overly conservative with tipping.